Hi there, I'm Hannah Hummel from DW Travel, and today I'm visiting one of the most famous castles in Germany, the Wartburg Castle in the Thuringian forest. It's fundamental to Germany's history, which is why it's often referred to as the Castle of the Germans. And today we're going to find out why.
We'll be spending all day at Wartburg Castle, exploring its impressive rooms, learning about the legends that surround it, and meeting the famous people who lived here.
Okay, I need to get all the way up there, so let's go.
It's early morning, and I'm excited to get started.
Isn't this a beautiful hike? The nature is just gorgeous.
Though it is a steep climb.
Why is it that castles are always on the top of a hill?
For strategic reasons, of course. But 411 meters is still way up there.
How much farther? Finally, made it! It really does look like something out of a fairy tale, right? It's giving me knights in shining armor, feasts, tournaments. That's what you think about when you think of the Middle Ages, right?
There's even an ancient drawbridge, which paid off in the past. Although Wartburg Castle was often under siege, it was never conquered. It's 8 a.m. and the gates are now open, but I'm still the only visitor.
Because I'm here so early, it means I've got the whole place to myself. Did you know the Wartburg is almost 1,000 years old? Unbelievable.
It's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its imposing edifice has inspired many famous people, including poet Johann Wolfgang Goethe and composer Richard Wagner. Many tourists have now found their way to the castle, and the first guided tours are starting. Today I'm getting a private tour from Maya Ruhkamp instead of joining a group, which would be tricky since we're shooting footage for DW and could hold everyone up.
This is our medieval palace building, built in the 12th century, and it is the only residence from the late Romanesque era that still exists and in that good condition, for a major part original.
Wow, impressive. Final shot of the day.
Maya tells me the legend behind the foundation of Wartburg Castle 1,000 years ago by Ludwig the Jumper.
And right here we see Ludwig the Jumper. He was called the Jumper because he was imprisoned in a tower and jumped out of it into a river to escape. Wow. So Ludwig the Jumper is known as the founder of Wartburg Castle in the year 1067. And the legend is telling that he came to this hill and he was so impressed by the landscape that he exclaimed, "Wartberg, du sollst mir eine Burg werden. Wait, mountain, you shall be my castle."
Wartburg Castle gained great significance in the Middle Ages, and again in the 19th century when it was completely restored.
Wow. I mean, this is gorgeous.
It is.
Some 4 million mosaics adorn the walls of Lady Elizabeth's chamber. They tell the story of this Hungarian princess who was sent to the castle as a little girl so she could become the wife of Ludwig IV. They married when she was just 14. Elizabeth was later declared a saint for helping the poor and sick. Look at those chandeliers. There are more in the next room, in the Hall of Minstrels. This is where, according to legend, the contest of minstrels was held in the 13th century. This chamber also inspired one of Germany's greatest composers.
In the 19th century, Richard Wagner, a very famous compositor at that time, was riding through the forest of Thuringia, seeing Wartburg Castle on the hill, and he was imagining how good it was, how impressive it was to compose an opera. And so he combined this minstrels war, the legend of the minstrels war, with the Tannhäuser legend, a story about a knight in the Middle Ages. And so the opera Tannhäuser and the minstrels war at Wartburg Castle, just the entire title, came alive. Yeah.
Wow. And actually, you can still see that opera here at Wartburg today, but it sells out quickly, so make sure you book your tickets in advance.
This is the castle's Great Hall. It's known for its fabulous acoustics and exquisite decor. Renovated in the 19th century, it has now become a major tourist attraction.
That it's not the only one of these rooms that exists, because Germany's fairy tale king, King Ludwig II, was so enchanted by the room that he copied it for Neuschwanstein, which you may have already seen.
See that flag over there? It's a reminder of the 1817 Wartburg Summit, when students from all over Germany gathered here.
The students came here to fight for a unified nation, a unified German nation. You have to imagine that Germany was separated into more than 200 smaller states at that time, and so they were fighting for a unified nation. Democratic rights for everyone, constitutional rights, they didn't have that. And so they came here to fight against aristocracy.
Okay, so that must be why this is the castle of the Germans then, for that reason.
Next up, the tour's highlight.
And if I'm not wrong, we're about to enter maybe the most famous study in Germany, right?
It is, yes.
You've probably guessed it. This is where, in 1512, Protestant reformer Martin Luther translated the Bible, or more specifically the New Testament, into German. Luther fled to Wartburg Castle to hide from his enemies.
At his times, it was so important for the people to have an accessible Bible in their own language, and that's what Martin Luther tried to solve. He was using such a pictorial language that everyone could understand it, and he was developing the German language. There actually was no German language at his times. We're talking about so many dialects that Martin Luther tried to combine and to develop one understandable language nationwide, actually.
Impressive work.
It was, and so important for the people because it was trying to liberate them, to free them from the restrictions of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, true. And I guess it brought everyone together.
Yes, it is. Language is forming a nation as well, and a culture.
Wartburg Castle really impressed me, and I wanted to find out if others felt the same.
Very interested in learning about Martin Luther and where he did his translations, and also about St. Elizabeth that was here. Learned about her this time, but it was wonderful. We have thoroughly enjoyed it. The guide was great. The castle's beautifully restored. It's wonderful. We had a good time.
For us to be able to experience where Martin Luther was, and then knowing that the history of this castle goes back far before him.
What stood out for you? What did you enjoy?
I think Elizabeth's room. That was just stunning to see, not just the artistry of the room, but to see her life.
So ein Ort mit so viel deutscher Geschichte auch, von Mittelalter bis hin zur Gegenwart eigentlich. Ich glaube, das findet man nirgendwo außer hier. Ich finde es hier echt Wahnsinn, was du hier an Geschichte hast.
My day at Wartburg Castle is coming to an end. But before we leave, let's head up the castle tower to enjoy the spectacular view. Wartburg Castle holds a special place in German history. This is where Luther translated the Bible, and Wagner drew inspiration for one of his major operas. This is also, in some sense, the birthplace of a modern, united Germany. No wonder they call it the most German of all castles.
Moment, warte!
It's 8 p.m., closing time.
surely I'll be dreaming of knights and minstrels tonight. I hope you had just as much fun up here at the Wartburg as I did. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, DW Travel.